Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're delivering the ultimate guide to the most anticipated releases of 2025. And we're starting with the biggest big screen offerings you're not going to want to miss.
Every time you die, we learn something new, and humanity moves forward.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at movies that have cinephiles the most excited for 2025. Keep in mind, some of these release dates are subject to change.
It's Megan 2.0.
Work it out, mother!
Number 20, Captain America Brave New World. Release date, February 14th, 2025.
You asked for me. Here I am.
It feels like we're entering a new world in 2025. Captain America may be the hero audiences need right now. Sam Wilson picks up the Star-Spangled Shield, but he's not the only one adjusting to a new role. Taking over for the late William Hurt, Harrison Ford plays General Thaddeus Ross. Make that President Ross, since the White House just got a new resident. You can't take the soldier out of the politician, as Ross ushers in a war-torn era with Sam caught in the middle. It's Red, White, and Blue versus Red Hulk. Although the action isn't the only thing Brave New World has going for it. The advertising promises a conspiracy thriller that may harken back to Sam's debut in The Winter Soldier.
So the real question is, how did the two most wanted people in Washington kidnap a SHIELD officer in broad daylight?
The answer is, you don't. What's this? Call it a resume.
Number 19, Sinners. Release date, March 7th, 2025.
Hey, brother. Be careful. I will.
Given his success with Creed and Black Panther, Hollywood owes Ryan Coogler a blank check to produce an original project. Coogler ultimately received $90 million to write and direct Sinners, which reteams him with Michael B. Jordan. We're getting double the Jordan, as the actor plays twin brothers Elijah and Elias. While the casting may sound familiar, Sinners is new territory for Coogler, who helms his first horror film. The threat appears to be supernatural, perhaps even demonic. The trailers for Sinners have otherwise kept its plot hidden in the shadows. That's the way we like it. We have a feeling this is a film you'll want to go in with as little information as possible, especially since the talent involved is more than enough to hook us in.
I ain't ever seen no demons. No ghosts. No magic. Till now.
Number 18, Eddington. Release date, to be announced 2025.
If the last time you were thirsty, you went to a well and the water made you sick, are you gonna go back to that specific well expecting it to be safe?
Ari Aster tackled psychological horror in Hereditary, folk horror in Midsommar, and surreal horror in Beau is Afraid. His latest film, Eddington, is billed as a modern western with a dark comedic edge. Rumors suggest the film will occur during the pandemic and could even involve zombies. Wherever Eddington falls under the horror umbrella, Aster isn't straying too far from his comfort zone, again working with Joaquin Phoenix as a New Mexico sheriff who believes he's destined for more. Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and Austin Butler round out a supporting cast in a small-town story where things turn grim after sunset. It sounds unlike anything Aster's done before, but then again, he never makes the same movie twice.
Lots of pageantry and special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun.
Number 17, Tron Ares. Release date, October 10th, 2025. Since its debut in 1982, Tron has never been as big as Disney likely hoped. The film's cult following persisted though, paving the way for Tron Legacy in 2010. While another sequel was considered, Disney ultimately rebooted the franchise with Tron Ares. The film isn't completely abandoning its roots with Jeff Bridges' Kevin Flynn appearing. Similar to The Force Awakens, Tron Ares is expected to be a passing of the torch with Jared Leto, Evan Peters, and Greta Lee leading the cast. Considering how much AI has evolved in the past 15 years, the film story of a digital being entering our world should carry newfound relevance. Daft Punk will be missed, but we're counting on Nine Inch Nails to produce a banger score.
Look what you've accomplished. It's incredible.
Number 16, F1. Release date, June 27th, 2025.
We need to build our car for combat.
How am I supposed to make that safe?
Who said anything about safe?
In Top Gun Maverick, director Joseph Kosinski and cinematographer Claudio Miranda made audiences feel like they were up in the air alongside Tom Cruise. They could pull off a similar feat with F1, putting the viewer behind the wheel with Brad Pitt. Adding to the thrill, Pitt reportedly did his own driving in the film. Granted, in an F2 vehicle that was altered to look like an F1 car, but still cool. Visual tricks aside, the film is striving for authenticity, even featuring several real-life Formula One drivers. With Jerry Bruckheimer producing, F1 seems to be the racing movie he tried to make 35 years ago with Days of Thunder, which also coincidentally starred Tom Cruise. Where that film crashed, F1 may burn rubber. Number 15, Elio. Release date, June 13th, 2025.
Please state the name of your homeworld.
Earth?
Welcome, leader of Earth.
Be it due to bad advertising or a questionable straight-to-streaming model, Disney has mishandled the distribution of several recent Pixar movies. Sequels like Inside Out 2 still print money, but Elio could determine how many original projects we'll see from Pixar in the coming years. Centered on a lonely boy who unwittingly becomes Earth's ambassador to a group of extraterrestrial beings, the premise offers plenty of comedic possibilities. There's also an opportunity to explore profound questions about humanity and life beyond the stars. Initially set to be directed by Adrian Molina of Coco, Turning Red's Domi Shi and Burrow's Madeline Sharafian took over the production in 2024. If it's anything like their past works, Elio should be another Pixar film that reaches for the stars.
I think there's been a mistake.
You're not the leader of Earth?
Sorry for the mix-up.
Commence memory wipe.
Number 14, 28 Years Later. Release date, June 20th, 2025.
Wait, sit here. Auntie, what's going on? Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from this spot.
For nearly 18 years, we've asked, when are we gonna get 28 months later? Well, probably never, since the third movie is called 28 Years Later. We're just ecstatic that Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are revisiting the zombie franchise that changed everything. The behind-the-scenes talent are not the only ones coming back. Cillian Murphy reprises his role for the first time since 2002. Back then, the idea of a zombie apocalypse seemed far-fetched. In a post-pandemic world, empty cities and deadly infections no longer feel like a what-if scenario. Now is as good a time as any for 28 Years Later, which already has another sequel in the works entitled The Bone Temple. Yeah, we wish it was called 28 Decades Later too.
There's no discharge in the wall.
Number 13, The Battle of Bactan Cross. Release date, August 8th, 2025. Paul Thomas Anderson. Need we say more?
His latest film shot under the production title BC Project, with DiCaprio playing Zoid Wheeler, an ex-hippie running from the law.
How about Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, Sean Penn, Alana Haim, and Benicio del Toro? Still not sold? We're honestly running out of things to say about this crime thriller, which has kept its plot under wraps. Rumors suggest that the 1990 novel Vineland was an inspiration. Yet even the title, The Battle of Bactan Cross, isn't necessarily set in stone. When it comes to Anderson, though, the less we know, the better. We want to be surprised. The film has been described as Anderson's, quote, most commercial work, which is reflected in a budget exceeding $100 million. By far the biggest budget the director has ever received, we know PTA is worth 3 figures.
Here's $500. Tell me something worth hearing. This money's yours.
Number 12, Frankenstein. Release date, to be announced 2025.
I have love in me the likes of which you can scarcely imagine. And rage, the likes of which you would not believe.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro. That sounds about right. We're surprised such an adaptation has taken this long to happen. It's not like it was due to a lack of trying. Del Toro has expressed interest in doing a Frankenstein movie for years, although the pieces never fell into place as other projects captured his attention. One of those passion projects was his version of Pinocchio. With that stop-motion film going on to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, Netflix didn't hesitate to greenlight Del Toro's Frankenstein. Like Pinocchio, Frankenstein is a story we've heard before, but Del Toro is interested in exploring aspects of Shelley's novel that other adaptations omitted. After years in development hell, it's alive!
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Number 11, Thunderbolts. Release date, May 2nd, 2025.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this? What brings you here?
It's funny, for years we wondered when Natasha Romanoff would get her own movie. Then, when she finally did, the consensus was, it was fine, but when is Yelena Belova getting a movie? Yelena leads this ensemble, which includes other anti-heroes/reformed villains like Bucky Barnes, John Walker, Red Guardian, Taskmaster, and Ghost. Oh, and Bob. Can't forget Bob, who we're guessing is going to be Sentry. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is also in play, as this band of lost souls is recruited to carry out government missions too dangerous for others. So that's it? What, there's some kind of Thunderbolts? Yeah, you knew we were going there, but we have faith this team-up will be less like Suicide Squad and closer to the Suicide Squad.
Is that Bucky?
That's not good.
Number 10, Wicked Part 2. Release date, November 21st, 2025.
What is this feeling so sudden and new?
I felt the moment I laid eyes on you.
We'll admit that when news broke that Wicked would be a 2-part adaptation, we cried cash grab. While it might have been financially motivated, at least at an executive level, we think it was the right choice having seen Part 1. The 2024 hit expanded upon the Broadway sensation, taking the character development and world building to even greater heights. Leaving us on a high note with Defying Gravity, director John M. Chu earned our trust. Coinciding with Dorothy's arrival in Oz, Part 2 will keep the focus on Elphaba and Glinda as their friendship is tested. Some Broadway elitists may say Act 2 of Wicked isn't as strong as Act 1. With new songs and dynamics being added, though, this sequel might change your opinion for good.
You're green.
I am.
Number 9, The Smashing Machine. Release date, to be announced 2025.
I think you're better than me.
I am better than you.
We love Dwayne Johnson, even if his movies haven't always blown us away. Of course, director Benny Safdie is gaining a reputation for pushing actors to new, exciting, often stressful places. Safdie's collaborations with his brother Josh resulted in career-best performances from Robert Pattinson and Adam Sandler. Safdie may do the same for Johnson in The Smashing Machine. Playing mixed martial artist Mark Kerr might not seem like a stretch considering Johnson's wrestling background. Given Kerr's history of substance use, though, this A24 biopic could push Johnson to dramatic depths we've rarely seen. Emily Blunt has described her co-star as, quote, unrecognizable in the film, making us wonder if we'll get to call him Oscar nominee Dwayne Johnson before inevitably calling him President Johnson.
I respect you. I respect your passion. Okay, I always have.
Number 8, The Running Man. Release date, November 21st, 2025.
Come on, give it a try. You can do it. What do you think?
Okay, I think the next kill will be made by Van Richards.
Any Schwarzenegger fan surely has a soft spot for 1987's The Running Man. Readers, meanwhile, have waited decades for a more faithful adaptation of Stephen King's novel, which coincidentally took place in the dystopian year of 2025. King was ahead of the curve with his commentary on reality TV, America's declining economy, and a society growing more prone to violence. The timing could not be more perfect for another Running Man adaptation. The only thing more promising than the source material is the talent involved. Director Edgar Wright doesn't have a miss in his filmography, and Glenn Powell is on the cusp of being a bona fide movie star. We'll be running to the theater, especially if we need an escape from the harsh realities of 2025.
I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine!
Number 7, Wake Up, Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Release date, to be announced 2025.
You know a crime has been committed by Miss Cabrera. You need her to be caught for it. You cannot reveal how you know.
Enter Benoit Blanc.
Knives Out was a breath of fresh air for murder mystery fans. The sequel should not have been able to recapture the same spark. For many, Glass Onion somehow surpassed its predecessor, remaining faithful to the original tone while going in a different direction. We're not sure how lightning can strike 3 times in a franchise dependent on staying several steps ahead of us. Writer-director Rian Johnson is known for subverting expectations, however. We should expect the unexpected, but we're guaranteed to see Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc lead another all-star ensemble including Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, and Mila Kunis, among others. If there's one Netflix movie we'd love to see on the big screen this year, it's Wake Up Dead Man.
I know, legit, right? But look at your face, it was worth it. Oh, my friends, all my old friends.
Are we allowed to hug after the whole Men in Black thing?
We can hug.
Oh, God, bring it in.
Number 6, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. Release date, June 6th, 2025.
Eve Macaro, the Ruscaroma. What a pleasure to see you again.
The John Wick franchise has some of the best world building in modern action without ever over-explaining how the secret society works. While John himself is in a league of his own, any of the figures he's crossed paths with could have their own movie. In addition to Keanu Reeves, we can expect to see a few familiar faces in Ballerina, including Angelica Houston, Ian McShane, and the late Lance Reddick in his final role. The stage belongs to Ana de Armas, though, as Eve Macaro, a dancer/assassin ready to paint her shoes red. Set between the third and fourth John Wick movies, Eve's mission to avenge her father should serve as a reminder that fight choreography and dance choreography are closer than we assume.
You're him. The one they call the Baba Yaga.
Number 5, Superman. Release date, July 11th, 2025.
Why are you here? There must be a reason for you to be here.
Yes, I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The DCEU certainly had its highs, but even going back to the earliest lows like Batman vs. Superman, a reboot seemed fated. As James Gunn had a falling out with Marvel, the time seemed appropriate to start fresh. Gunn kicks off the DC Universe's theatrical output with Superman. Although he may be the most iconic and important DC hero, Superman isn't the easiest character to adapt. Ideally, this version could combine the optimism and gravitas of the original Christopher Reeves movies with the more grounded edge Zack Snyder brought to the table. Above all else, we hope this is a genuine James Gunn production, complete with his signature wit, inventiveness, and eye for comic book action. Krypto's presence in the movie is a good sign.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun count.
Number 4, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Release date, December 19th, 2025.
So congratulations, you unveiled the title of Avatar.
It's only a big deal because we didn't have a title. And we only didn't have a title because I couldn't make up my damn mind.
Avatar: The Way of Water was the sequel we never thought we'd see. And despite more than a decade of skepticism, it actually lived up to the hype. Thankfully, we don't have to wait as long for the third installment, Fire and Ash. As the title suggests, this story will introduce the Ash people, revealing the fiery side of the Na'vi. We don't just mean that in an elemental sense. While humans have primarily been the antagonists, James Cameron has teased a clash between the Na'vi. The fire potentially refers to a blowout, while the ash symbolizes the fallout. Will it all burn to the ground, or could something else rise from the ashes? With 2 more sequels planned, we're guessing the latter.
The title is Fire and Ash, which has meaning when you see the film. It's not in and of itself that earth-shaking, but when you see the film, it makes sense.
I actually think it says a lot. It says a lot because we know from The Way of Water, we know what that was about. So what kind of world are we exploring with Fire and Ash, maybe?
Well, if you think about what is fire, fire can represent hatred, can represent violence, trauma,
Power.
Power. A possible misuse of power.
Number 3, Mickey 17. Release date, April 18th, 2025.
I'm sure you're used to it by now, but what's it feel like to die?
Even on my 17th go-around, I hate dying.
Why aren't you dead? Multiples.
Bong Joon-ho has been gripping South Korean audiences and cinephiles worldwide for decades. If you didn't know his name before 2020, you did after Parasite won the Oscar for Best Picture. While Bong has made a few English-language movies, Mickey 17 is unlike anything else in his filmography. An adaptation of a popular sci-fi book with a $150 million budget and a major Hollywood distributor in Warner Brothers. For anyone worried the studio system might get in the way, you'll be happy to know that Bong was granted final cut. Those who read Mickey 7 can expect some changes, including the title. Given Bong's track record, though, we say let the man cook. Also, we are loving this unpredictable phase of Robert Pattinson's career.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were thinking at this point, what have I done?
Number 2, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. Release date, July 25th, 2025.
Wanda, stop. You've possessed an innocent woman, but you can still do the right thing. Let her go.
When Disney entered negotiations to purchase 21st Century Fox, 2 questions lingered above all others. When will the X-Men join the MCU, and will we finally get a watchable Fantastic Four movie? While the mutants have slowly entered the fold, the Fantastic Four will take their first steps in this semi-period piece. The casting sounds fantastic, with Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Eben Moss-Backrack as Ben Grimm. The ensemble also includes Ralph Ineson's Galactus and Julia Garner's Silver Surfer. However, we're curious if the film could set up Doctor Doom, marking Robert Downey Jr.'s return. It'll not only set a tone for future Fantastic Four movies, but the MCU's 6th phase and beyond.
I have children of my own. I understand your pain.
Is their mother still alive?
Yes.
Good. There will be someone left to raise them.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
What mouth?
Number 1, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Release date, May 23rd, 2025.
When the need for certainty is absolute and the odds are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him.
Should he choose to accept?
The 8th Mission Impossible ties up the loose ends from Dead Reckoning, but will it truly be the final reckoning for Ethan Hunt? Tom Cruise has noted that the title could be misleading, like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. For all we know, Cruise may keep risking his life for our viewing pleasure until he's 90. Whether or not this is truly the end of an era, The Final Reckoning looks like the culmination of an action franchise that's been going strong on the silver screen for nearly 3 decades. This mission should push Hunt's team to new limits and deeper depths, literally in the latter's case, with the submarine setup already having us holding our breath. Say no more, we accept.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
What's your most anticipated movie of 2025?
Everything you've done has come to this.
Are you ready to binge on what's coming next to your small screen? Well, let's find out what TV shows are set to define the year ahead.
Oh, you want to start or what?
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most exciting TV shows set to arrive in 2025, from brand new series to returning favorites that everyone can't stop talking about.
Kasim will find us.
I will.
Number 10, Stranger Things Season 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stranger Things Season 5.
Ever since it premiered in 2016, this Netflix sci-fi horror show has become an inescapable pop culture juggernaut. Nearly a decade later, Stranger Things is set to bow out with its 5th and final season in 2025. To say that fan anticipation is high would be an understatement. With Season 4 airing way back in 2022, viewers are itching to see how the Hawkins crew bounces back from their epic clash with Vecna, and also how the show ties up its expansive narrative.
You and your friends believe you have won, don't you?
Most of the main cast will return, joined by none other than 80s icon Linda Hamilton. While this marks the end of the main series, it's safe to say the Stranger Things universe isn't done haunting us just yet. Number 9, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1.
Shall we discuss the heirs tournament, Your Grace?
I would be delighted.
Although Game of Thrones fumbled its finale, the franchise redeemed itself with the acclaimed prequel series House of the Dragon, which premiered in 2022. Now, 3 years later, George R.R. Martin is ready to dive deeper into Westeros with another HBO prequel, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
You and I?
I'm Sir Duncan the Tall.
Based on The Hedge Knight, the first installment in Martin's Tales of Dunk and Egg novellas, this show shifts from sprawling ensemble drama to an engaging buddy adventure. It'll follow Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg, a young Aegon Targaryen on their journeys set 90 years before Game of Thrones. There still isn't a specific release date, but if House of the Dragon is any indication, fans are in for a treat.
Sir Duncan the Tall. 4 pages for Sir Duncan. He must have been quite a man.
So they say.
Number 8. It, Welcome to Derry, Season 1.
'Cause I've missed you. No one wants to play with the clown anymore. Play a game with me, would you?
Stephen King's fictional town of Derry, Maine becomes the setting for yet another exploration of the twisted antics of Pennywise. Following the success of Andy Muschietti's 2-part adaptation, audiences will return to Derry in 2025 for a prequel series tracing the origins of Pennywise, starting in the 1960s.
What did you see? A clown.
Of course, this means that the star-studded cast of the 2019 installment will not return, with the exception of Bill Skarsgård, who will once again don the makeup of the sinister clown. Since It Chapter 2 exhausted King's 1986 novel, Welcome to Derry will venture into new territory, allowing the creators more freedom to craft fresh characters and storylines. Here's hoping this new chapter leaves us with a smile on our faces.
Just leave me alone!
Alone? Oh, you've always been alone.
That's not true. I have real friends. Bill, Eddie, Mike, Stanley, Richie, Beverly, they're my real friends.
Oh, kiss me. As if it were the last time.
Number 7. Wednesday, Season 2.
Over the past few weeks, I've been hunted, haunted, and mimicked millions of times across the internet. It's been pure torture. Thank you.
In 2022, Netflix finally gave the delightfully morbid Wednesday Addams her own series, helmed by none other than Tim Burton. Since the first season became a global sensation, fans have been eagerly counting down to its follow-up. Well, the wait is almost over, as Wednesday returns in 2025, with Jenna Ortega reprising her role as the deadpan sadistic lead. But that's not all. For this season, the cast gets a star-powered upgrade. In a full-circle moment, the show will welcome the presence of Lady Gaga, whose song Bloody Mary went viral after fans paired it with clips from the first season. And she's not the only big name. Steve Buscemi, Tadiway Newton, Haley Joel Osment, and Joanna Lumley will also be making appearances.
I'd rather stick needles in my eyes. I'd probably do that anyway.
Number 6. Invincible Season 3.
Oh, I agree. Come get me.
Despite a mid-season break that slowed the momentum of its second installment, Invincible remains one of the most captivating animated shows out there. The Amazon Prime series is centered around Mark Grayson, who inherits the superpowers of his father, the planet's most formidable hero, but still has to juggle life as a teenager. After a 2-year wait between seasons 1 and 2, the show's creators are eager to please fans faster this time. The third installment will return less than a year after the conclusion of Season 2, and thankfully with no mid-season breaks.
And don't even get me started on your little 4-month vacation right in the middle of things. We all sure love that.
In the upcoming chapter, Mark's role as Earth Defender is greatly expanded, but can he rise to the challenge? Guess we'll find out on February 6th.
It's about time.
Number 5. Andor Season 2.
Something's wrong.
Whatever it is, they're taking their time about it.
What's going on? What are they saying? I think it's level 2.
For many, the Star Wars prequel series Andor felt like a breath of fresh air. Its mature storytelling set it apart from other shows in the same universe, earning widespread acclaim from critics. Andor ditched the unnecessary fan service and instead delivered a gripping espionage tale that even casual Star Wars viewers could enjoy. If the creators can keep up the momentum, then we have nothing to worry about when the second and final season arrives in April 2025.
You're thinking like a thief.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
Of course, Diego Luna returns as the titular character, with Ben Mendelsohn and Alan Tudyk reprising their roles from Rogue One. We may already know how it ends, but the journey to get there promises to be just as thrilling.
The day will come when all these skirmishes and battles, these moments of defiance will have flooded the banks of the Empire's authority, and then there will be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Remember this. Try.
Number 4, The White Lotus Season 3.
How was Nicola?
I mean, the whole night was like a dream.
Everyone's favorite show featuring rich people behaving badly is back, and creator Mike White promises it'll be, quote, longer, bigger, and crazier. The White Lotus first landed in 2021 as a limited series, but after sky-high ratings and glowing reviews, HBO quickly revamped it into an anthology. Another stellar season followed, but that was way back in 2022, and we've been craving more vapid opulence and murderous elites ever since.
Yeah, I feel like something bad is happening.
While Season 1 and 2 whisked us to Maui and Sicily respectively, the chaos is now heading to Thailand. This time, the cast boasts names like Walton Goggins, Carrie Coon, Parker Posey, Blackpink's Lisa, and Natasha Rothwell returning from Season 1. We can't wait to see what first-class disasters lay in store for them.
All right. That's a bummer. I saw the virtual tour of it, and it's... We're definitely not paying for the more expensive room.
No.
Right?
I mean, yes, you are not.
Number 3, Daredevil Born Again, Season 1.
I've been watching them all night. And then you guys show up.
Fans of Marvel's Daredevil were crushed when Netflix abruptly axed the show after just 3 seasons. But it's time to dry those eyes because the Devil of Hell's Kitchen will be suiting up once more. Daredevil Born Again premieres on Disney Plus in March 2025, bringing a fresh start with familiar faces. Though it's on a different streaming platform with a slate of new writers, the core remains intact.
Why don't you put all that torture you put me and Karen through to good use? Now would be the time.
Council, we about ready?
Charlie Cox returns as Daredevil, and Vincent D'Onofrio is back as the menacing Kingpin. Also joining them from the Netflix series are John Bernthal, Deborah Ann Woll, and Eldon Henson. Serving as both a continuation and a reinvention, Daredevil Born Again aims to honor the Netflix version while charting a new way forward.
Exactly what kind of a lawyer are you? A really good one.
Number 2, The Last of Us, Season 2.
So, is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs. You can't deny that view.
For years, Hollywood struggled with video game adaptations, but The Last of Us completely shattered expectations with its phenomenal first season. Perhaps that's because Neil Druckmann, the co-creator of the game, also developed the HBO series. Whatever the reason, thankfully, the magic formula seems intact as the show gears up for its highly anticipated comeback 2 years after the first season.
How about you just take the good news? Can you do that? Like to think for once maybe we can actually win?
Slated for release in early 2025, this new installment will pick up on the post-apocalyptic adventures of Joel and Ellie 5 years after we last saw them. With Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey returning in the aforementioned roles, the season will also feature the addition of actors like Caitlin Dever, Isabella Merced, Catherine O'Hara, and Jeffrey Wright. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Win or Lose Season 1. Pixar's first long-form series will give each episode its own unique style.
I see a whole lot of people who underestimated us. And you know what? Sometimes you have to earn your respect. Tonight is our moment for redemption.
The Chair Company Season 1. Tim Robinson's signature absurdity in a half-hour comedy? Sign us up.
Yes, I even saw 2 cubes in his pocket. I think he has dice, but he's afraid to show them to anyone.
What the hell are they even talking about?
Vincent, LOL, that is so sad. Bree, so sad, so sad. So sad.
The Rehearsal Season 2. Finally, more twisted experiments from Nathan Fielder's wild mind.
And I know you're against cheating, and this isn't cheating because you actually didn't know I was doing it, but I was just wanted you to focus on the confession, and I wanted your confidence to be up, but I feel terrible about it, and I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry.
The Righteous Gemstones Season 4. The fourth coming of this religious satire promises some holy hilarity. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1. This animated series flips the script, with Norman Osborn as Spider-Man's mentor.
Miss me!
Number 1. Severance Season 2.
The good news is, hell is just the product of a morbid human imagination. The bad news is, whatever humans can imagine, they can usually create.
Every now and then, a truly inventive show comes along and completely rewires our brains. In 2022, that show was Severance. The Apple TV workplace thriller about employees who split their consciousness between work and personal life debuted to near universal acclaim, and quickly amassed a dedicated fan base through word of mouth. After a long sabbatical, the worker drones at Lumen Industries are finally clocking back in.
Clearly he was trying to tell you something.
No.
Go lick a boot, Mark. You're more loyal to this place than to your friend.
I'm loyal to how it felt around here before you showed up.
The second season of Severance is set to ramp things up several notches, especially after the jaw-dropping twists of last season's finale. With so many burning questions still at the back of our minds, this next chapter has two jobs to fulfill: blow our minds once again, and hopefully connect a few dots along the way.
Welcome back, Marcus. Been a minute.
Which of these TV shows are you most excited about in 2025?
I think I miss my wife.
Okay, good news, video game fans. It appears that 2025 is packed with lots of Nintendo magic. So let's power up and find out what's on the way.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for Nintendo games we're excited to get our hands on in 2025. Although Nintendo is keeping next year plans relatively quiet with a new console reveal on the horizon, there are still some enticing games to look forward to. While a few of our picks are also coming to PC, we prioritized console exclusives for this list.
Together, we resolved to forge a new way of life here on Mira, come what may.
Number 10. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Nintendo is starting off the year by giving one of the best games on the Wii a new coat of paint. Those who missed out on Donkey Kong Country Returns, or players who just want to revisit this excellent platformer, will be able to do so on January 16th. The HD port obviously brings a nice visual upgrade, though it will also include the bonus levels from the 3DS version. Considering the original was also pretty difficult, there will also be an option to give DK and Diddy some extra health. While we'd prefer to get a new game, and $60 for an upgraded Wii title is frankly ridiculous, there's no denying how fun this game is. Number 9. The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky the First.
日本ファルコムが送る奇跡シリーズ1作目、英雄伝説空の奇跡ファーストチャプターがフルリメイク。
Originally released only in Japan on PC in 2004, Western players didn't get their hands on this RPG until 2011, when it was ported to the PSP. Trails in the Sky has since gained a passionate following through sequels, becoming a strong spin-off series of the Legend of Heroes franchise. Now, a remake is coming to Switch, and since it's a worldwide release, we thankfully won't have to wait years to play it. The refreshed visuals so far look very impressive, and we're interested to see what new tweaks and changes have been made to mechanics. The story and characters are utterly charming, however, and we don't doubt there are new legions of fans who will fall in love with them. Number 8. Moth Cubit. The first brand new game on our list is a satirical look at corporate life with a unique take on combat. Moth Cubit follows the titular bug protagonist as he navigates life as an office worker drone. But after accepting a big promotion, Moth will find himself at a turning point. Inspired by the writings of Franz Kafka and Albert Camus, it will blend anti-bureaucratic thinking, surrealism, and an RPG battle system reliant on dialogue. The top-down pixel art style looks great, and the imaginative take on office life has us intrigued. Although it will also release on Steam, Nintendo players can dive into the absurdity next spring. Number 7. Star Overdrive. If you like delving into the secrets of mysterious alien planets, Star Overdrive is one to keep an eye on. Another indie game also coming to Steam, it'll task you with uncovering a planet's secrets after receiving a distress signal. What has our interest is the heavy focus on a hoverboard, which your character will use not only to navigate biomes and uniquely designed structures, but to survive in combat as well. There look to be plenty of creatures big and small for us to conquer, and if gameplay is as smooth and quick-paced as it seems to be, both the traversal and the fights should be exhilarating. Number 6. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time.
Live the life you want in a new Fantasy Life game.
The Fantasy Life series from Level 5 gained a sizable following on the 3DS. Fans have been waiting quite a while for a Switch installment, which has suffered a few delays. But it seems The Girl Who Steals Time will finally be out in April of next year, barring any other setbacks. The role-playing life sim will place you on a strange, ruined island where you'll travel between the past and present to uncover its mysteries. The cute art style has always delighted fans, but there's a lot of depth in what you can do in the upcoming game. Fighting, gathering resources, and crafting all come with a variety of subcategories, so you can live your new life as you see fit.
のんびり日常ライフも終わらない冒険ライフもどう過ごすかはあなた次第。
Number 5. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma.
All 4 seasons have yet to return to Azuma. Much of the land still suffers from the celestial collapse.
Rune Factory has long been a standout in the farming social simulation genre, thanks to its implementation of fantasy elements. Next year, fans are getting a brand new installment in a spin-off, Guardians of Azuma. It will feature unique lore chronicling the fallout of Azuma's land being broken up by a catastrophic event and the absence of its gods. It'll be up to you to rebuild and revitalize entire villages, bringing peace back to citizens. It won't all just be mystical farming and town construction, though. As the so-called Earth Dancer, players will combat fantastical creatures and choose a romantic path to follow as well. Fans of the series, new and old, can check it out in spring of next year.
We're deciding this here and now, no matter what.
Number 4. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Well, here we are. Not too shabby, huh?
With the Switch, there are several franchises that have grown more popular as the system has continued to sell well. Xenoblade Chronicles is one of them, and on March 20th, 2025, all entries will be available on the platform. This spin-off originally released on the poor-selling Wii U, meaning there's now a sizable fanbase waiting to experience it for the first time. It follows the last remnants of humanity exploring a possible new home on the planet Mira, contending with its wildlife and charting it for the first time. Those who played it adored the combat, art direction, and world design. The definitive edition will bring enhanced visuals as well as new additions to the story.
Then it's settled?
All right. Thank God that's over.
Number 3, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam.
スチームバイソン。ここはアメリカの中で今最も急速に発展を遂げつつある街なんです。
It's been a little while since we last saw Professor Layton, and we honestly can't wait for his return. The series gained popularity across the DS and 3DS due to excellent puzzles, wonderful art styles, and light-hearted yet tantalizing mysteries. The new story will be set after the original trilogy, following Professor Layton in a town in the midst of a technological boom. The locale's steampunk aesthetic is certainly alluring. Every single building we've glimpsed pops with personality. Plus, the plot revolving around a ghost cowboy definitely grabbed our attention. Level 5 has consistently delivered wonderful puzzlers, and we're looking forward to having our brains teased when the New World of Steam releases next year.
では、中に入ってみようか。
天才発明家エッグマフィン。どんな人なのか楽しみです。
Number 2, Pokemon Legends Z to A. (2022's) Legends Arceus was a great spin on the Pokemon formula, being even better than some recent entries in the main series. So we were more than happy to hear it was getting a follow-up. Where Arceus reimagined the Sinnoh region long before Diamond and Pearl, Z to A will focus on the urban redevelopment of Lumiose City, introduced in the 3DS's X and Y. There's a lot we don't know about the game yet, like what exactly the story is or what additions to gameplay Game Freak has made. However, the news of it releasing simultaneously on Nintendo systems means it's one to look forward to whenever the highly anticipated Switch successor releases. Number 1, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This one has been a long time coming. Announced back in 2017 before work was restarted with original developer Retro Studios, Nintendo grew hesitant to share many details on Metroid Prime 4. Thankfully, the wait is finally nearing its end, as a new trailer revealed it's coming in 2025. Much of the game is still shrouded in mystery, though we do know that Psylux, a minor villain in previous games, will play a key role. Metroid has reached new sales heights on the Switch, which also saw an HD remaster of the first Prime, much to our delight. That just means that there are more players anticipating this release than when it was initially announced. Whether it's on Switch or the new console, we'll be there on day one. What's the Nintendo game you're looking forward to the most in 2025?
Take on different roles to develop the island. How will you rebuild?
Okay, calling all PlayStation fans now. It's time to find out which PS5 games are ready to set new standards and break boundaries this year.
Hey, brother. Did you miss me?
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for PS5 games coming in 2025 that we're most excited to play. We aren't worrying about exclusivity, so as long as it will be playable on the PS5, it was considered. However, we are only including games that have official release windows of 2025. No leaked, rumored, or speculated releases here.
Still think you're the hunter?
Number 10, Crimson Desert. Originally planned as a prequel to Pearl Abyss's MMORPG Black Desert Online, Crimson Desert morphed into a single-player action-adventure title. And while the gaming landscape has no shortage of those, we can't deny how stunning this one looks. Players will control Cliff, a mercenary fighting to bring peace to the land of Pywell, a fantastical medieval world. Whether that's through helping out the common folk or by contending with vicious monsters, it seems we'll have plenty to keep us occupied in this massive open world. Visually, the game looks incredibly impressive, but gameplay, which we've actually seen a lot of, also looks to bring the best elements of its genre.
This dance shall resume some other day. Running again.
Number 9. Judas.
You are the frog in a pot, boiling so slowly. You don't even know what's happening.
It's been too long since we had a BioShock game. While a 4th entry is in development, we know almost nothing about it. Meanwhile, director Ken Levine's next release, Judas, looks very similar and is supposedly right around the corner in March. Aboard the Mayflower, a giant spaceship carrying the last of humanity, players will be torn between 3 leaders with their own plans for everyone's survival. Levine described the game as using narrative Legos, giving players the building blocks to craft their path, leading to multiple outcomes for different scenarios, and therefore multiple endings. As should the promising looking combat that gives us plenty of cool abilities to wield.
People say I have this coming. And you know what? They're right.
Number 8. The Midnight Walk.
If you're intending to walk the midnight walk, you better be sure to keep your spark safe and burning.
Coming as a surprise state of play announcement in September 2024, we haven't stopped thinking about the Midnight Walk since. Visually, it's unlike almost anything we've ever seen before. Handcrafted entirely with stop-motion claymation, it undeniably impresses, especially with its blend of dark fantasy and horror elements. Players will travel with their charming companion, Potboy, bringing light back to the darkness. Along the way, there will be all sorts of twisted creatures blocking their path and attempting to keep them in the shadows. The game looks to deliver a beautifully haunting, artistic experience. And we can't wait for the visual feast come spring 2025.
The burnt one and a small flame took a wander down the midnight walk.
Number 7. Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
And everyone of that age vanishes into nothingness.
With a few exceptions, RPGs have become increasingly more action-oriented in recent years. But with Expedition 33, developer Sandfall Interactive seeks to show that its turn-based roots can be just as epic and visually impressive as the more frequent blends that have populated the genre. It follows a group of adventurers going up against the Paintress, who has the ability to wipe out everyone of a certain age just by writing it in the sky. We're all for another turn-based adventure to suck up all of our time, a la Baldur's Gate 3. We also can't deny the allure of its stacked cast, including Charlie Cox, Andy Serkis, Jennifer English, and Ben Starr.
You know what Neverons are capable of.
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
Number 6. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra.
Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
Set during World War II in Nazi-occupied Paris, Marvel 1943 will follow Captain America and Azuri, Black Panther and grandfather to the more well-known T'Challa, as they try to stop the rise of Hydra. Although it's a somewhat familiar setup, it has plenty of new elements to get us excited. Seeing the heroic duo team up for this new spin should please comic fans, and they'll have their own playable companions to keep gameplay varied. What we've seen so far looks to make wonderful use of Unreal Engine 5 as well. Crucially, we're excited to finally get another blockbuster narrative-driven adventure by Amy Hennig, the creator of Uncharted. Needless to say, we're ecstatic for this next step in superhero gaming.
I don't have time for this. Neither do I.
Number 5. Doom: The Dark Ages. Some might argue that Doom doesn't need much lore, since the incredible gunplay and vicious gore are great selling points in their own right. But us? Well, we're just happy to get more no matter what. The Dark Ages will be a prequel to the 2016 revival, following the Slayer as he battles demonic hordes. Only this time, it's during the medieval times. Thankfully, that won't stop us from wielding the franchise's signature over-the-top weapons. We've already seen a shield buzzsaw combo and a gun that grinds skulls into bullets you can spray at groups. The quick-paced combat looks to be well intact, and we'll even get to ride on the back of a dragon. Sick. Number 4. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. The first Death Stranding is one of the most unique games we've ever played, and that says a lot considering it came from the mind of Hideo Kojima, creator of the Metal Gear series. Since it fascinated just about everyone who played it, even if they didn't like it, we have no doubt the sequel will do the same. Not much is known about the plot as of writing, though Kojima has stated the impact of COVID-19 inspired him. The first game focused on a divided humanity, so the worldwide pandemic understandably offered a lot of material to pull from. We're looking forward to how Kojima handles that within his strange world, but also the new explorable regions and combat mechanics.
Pain, you nurse, will only get worse. Sam the man in the dark.
Number 3. Monster Hunter Wilds.
So, Captain, what's your team been getting up to?
It seems with each new release, Monster Hunter has grown bigger and better, much to our delight. The upcoming Wilds will retain what makes the franchise so great, letting players hunt and battle against ferocious creatures, whether by themselves or with a group of friends. But there are a few tweaks to this formula that we're excited to see. One will be our mount, able to carry us into battle or help traverse the terrain. Another will be the focus feature, making it easier to target specific body parts of our prey. One of the most noteworthy additions is more dynamic monster behavior. Some may travel in herds, while others will be affected by time of day and weather.
Why? This wasn't supposed to happen.
Number 2. Ghost of Yotai. Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima was a phenomenal action-adventure game in a sea of many others like it. The historical detail, the strong combat, and the unique take on open-world progression had us all thrilled to see what the studio would do next. While many were expecting a straightforward sequel, Ghost of Yotai is set over 300 years later. It will follow a new ghost, a warrior named Atsu, as she goes on her own tale of vengeance in Hokkaido. The team has stated players will have more control of Atsu's story and decisions than they did with Jin's, but that's essentially all we know so far. Still, with such an excellent foundation, we can't help but get our hopes up. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Eternal Strands, a colorful action RPG and the first game from indie studio Yellow Brick Games.
And welcome to the world of Eternal Strands, a new fantasy action adventure game where the world around you is your weapon.
Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft needs a win, and this looks like it could be one.
People so quick to abuse their power do not deserve to keep it.
Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, taking the exciting franchise in even more unique directions. Number 1. Grand Theft Auto 6.
Lucia, do you know why you're here? Bad luck, I guess.
No matter the platform, you'd be hard-pressed to find a game coming in 2025 with more player anticipation behind it than Grand Theft Auto 6. The 5th game was released all the way back in 2013 and is considered one of the greatest games of all time. Despite GTA Online's frequent updates and support, we've all been foaming at the mouth for a new installment. The game will take us back to one of the franchise's most famous locations, Vice City, within the Florida-inspired Leonida. Amidst all the chaos and parodied American culture shown in the trailer, we'll control a criminal duo like a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. This is a series that consistently delivers and entertains, and there's no way this isn't the biggest game of 2025.
Trust?
Trust.
What games are you most looking forward to playing on your PlayStation 5?
But I'm here to set you free, whether you like it or not.
Okay, whether you're into action-packed battles or eye-pleasing fantasy worlds, this year's anime calendar is pure hype. Well, take a look for yourself.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the must-watch anime of the coming year. Number 10, Dr. Stone, Science Future. Who would have guessed that an out-of-this-world 4th season is exactly what the Doctor ordered? Hey, no one can say Senku's crew lacks ambition, that's for sure. After 3 seasons tracking down the cure for the world's petrification plight, the ragtag team of scientists is now setting their sights on something even more difficult: landing on the moon. It'll take a lot of preparation to get there, but spread across 3 parts, Dr. Stone is sure to give this meaty storyline all the care it deserves. Not that we'd expect anything different from one of the most consistently entertaining shonen still around. Number 9, from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. All it took was one look at this trailer and we were instantly sold. After all, it's not often you get a series where the main character is a crestfallen old geezer. One day, his student, who has since become world-renowned, turns up to his humble village and appoints him as a teacher to the capital's elite guard.
優しさは時に間違いを生む。私はそれを正すべき立場にある。今までずっとやってきたことが。
Now he'll have to contend with life in the big city, as well as some people who might not take kindly to a country bumpkin gaining such a prestigious position. We're curious to see how Beryl Gardinant handles his new tumultuous life. Number 8, My Hero Academia Final Season. After almost a decade, it's finally here. The end of perhaps the greatest superhero anime.
それだけが俺を救うんだ、ヒーロー。
If this upcoming season continues the high-octane action and jaw-dropping revelations we saw in 2024's episodes, then sign us up for more. It's the stars of Hero Society facing off against the dregs of humanity in the Paranormal Liberation Front, and there can be only one winner.
勝とうぜ、緑谷少年!
Will we see Deku and company finally take down Shigaraki and All for One once and for all? You'd best believe we'll be tuning in to find out.
ファイナルシーズン2025年放送決定。
Number 7, The Apothecary Diaries, Season 2. In its freshman outing, The Apothecary Diaries blended mystery, political intrigue, and quirky characters into a distinctly potent concoction. And just like fine wine, it'll only get better with age in Season 2. Mao Mao's fraught relationship with Jinshi is the least of her problems as the cases start piling up, each puzzle more complex than the last. That's saying something considering the crimes in Season 1 were already pretty wild.
で、私は一体何をすればよろしいのでしょうか?
Manga fans know that this arc is sure to pack a punch, and if you don't want to miss out, you're gonna want to be there day one.
ジンシ様、では行きましょう。
Number 6, Sakamoto Days. The hitman profession has a pretty high turnover rate, so it's rare to see one make it all the way to retirement, let alone with a big, happy family. Unfortunately for Taro Sakamoto, a lot of people have a bone to pick with him, and they don't care if he's turned in the gun or not. That's all you need to know about Sakamoto Days, an action comedy manga that's been charming readers for years now. It's finally getting the anime treatment, and to say hopes are high would be putting it lightly. The thought of a plump old man busting heads while making it home in time for dinner is just too hilarious to pass up. Number 5, Solo Leveling Season 2. One of the best anime of 2024 is already back for another round. Hey, you won't hear us complaining. In case you somehow hadn't heard, Jinu's story leveled up to appointment viewing at the end of Season 1, and now that he's fully embracing his status as a Shadow Monarch, there's no reason to believe Season 2 will be any different, especially now that S-rank monsters are evolving into even bigger threats. With the promise of crazier action, more powerful characters to fight, and even denser mysteries to uncover, you'd best be prepared for 12 more weeks of solo leveling breaking the whole damn internet. Number 4, Witch Hat Atelier. No matter what they say, there's always room for one more magical anime, especially one with Coco, who is a frontrunner for heart-stealing anime lead of 2025. Her desire to learn magic is as endearing as it is relatable. It's a shame for her that there's a mischievous brimmed hat coven laying waste across the realm, but it sure does make for good entertainment. Add in Coco's stern but lovable mentor, Kifre, and you have all the runes you need for a downright spellbinding anime. It's really no wonder fans have been waiting for this one for a very, very long time. Number 3. Fire Force Season 3. It's been 4 long years, but things are finally heating up again in the Fire Brigades. And this time they're burning it all down for good. After 2 seasons fighting fires and the occasional devil, this acclaimed anime is returning at last for its 3rd and final season. Last we saw of Shinra and the others, the Knights of the Ashen Flame were knocking on the Tokyo Empire's door. Since we know this is the end too, there's no telling how insane things are about to get. But when it comes to Fire Force, you can always count on one thing: it'll be hot as hell. Number 2. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle. We'll admit we sighed when we heard that Demon Slayer would be concluding with the series of movies. Anime fans don't really know how to keep quiet in the cinema, and we usually have to wait a long time to get each installment. However, we didn't realize we'd be getting the first one so soon. Beginning the epic final arc of the series, Tanjiro and the other core members must tackle those at the absolute pinnacle of the demonic ranks, including the likes of Akaza and Muzan. If you've read the manga, you know we're in for one hell of a ride. Number 1. Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quacks. Anytime we hear whispers of a new Gundam series, we're instantly hyped, but this time it's something special, and that's why we're ranking it so highly on this list. In this shock announcement, we were told of a new Gundam series, which would be a collaboration between Sunrise and Kara, the studio run by none other than Hideaki Anno of Neon Genesis Evangelion fame. To say this is a huge deal for Mecha fans would be an understatement. With this incredible team behind it, and a gorgeous trailer that put any concerns to rest, it's safe to say that G-Quacks is going to be a must-see anime. What 2025 anime are you adding to your watch list?
If these upcoming horror movie sequels are any indication, 2025 is going to be full of chills, thrills, and familiar nightmares. And I can't wait.
Where are you?
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at horror movie sequels currently slated to come out in 2025. Prequels, spin-offs, virtually anything part of an ongoing franchise are fair game. Release dates are subject to change.
Megan, what are you doing? Couldn't sleep. Occupational hazard.
Thread, an Insidious tale. The Insidious series has inspired sequels, prequels, and interquels, or in-between-quels as we like to call them.
Leave her alone! You want to take somebody? Take me!
Thread marks the franchise's first spin-off, moving the focus away from the Lambert family. While we wouldn't be surprised if Lin Shaye made another appearance as Elise Rainier, the only cast members who have been confirmed thus far are Mandy Moore and Kumail Nanjiani. The plot centers on a couple who attempts to undo their daughter's death with a time travel spell. Unsurprisingly, their actions have unforeseen consequences. While James Wan remains a producer, Thread will mark the feature directorial debut of Jeremy Slater, who has developed shows like The Umbrella Academy, Moon Knight, and The Exorcist. We're ready to dive even further into the Insidious lore come August.
I'm scared, Mom. Scared of what?
Fear Street, Prom Queen. Most trilogies are spread out over a few years. Meanwhile, the first 3 Fear Street films were all released in July 2021.
What are you doing here?
Tag, you're it.
Continuing the series was a no-brainer for Netflix.
Okay, just because we're weird and smart and different doesn't mean they can feed us through their meat grinder.
Although a fourth film set in the 1950s was considered, the team ultimately settled on an adaptation of R.L. Stine's The Prom Queen, taking place in 1988. The story revolves around the popular girls at Shadyside High competing for the crown. When an unlikely candidate throws their hat into the ring, others are mysteriously taken out of the equation one by one.
Shadyside, small town America. But among locals, a history of horror has earned it another nickname, Killer Capital USA.
Director/co-writer Matt Palmer previously made the 2018 Netflix psychological thriller Caliber. With 50 other books in the main Fear Street series, Prom Queen may be the first of many direct adaptations.
Blood will fall.
I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel. Since Scream recently made a comeback, it only makes sense that Hollywood would resurrect the other 90s film that breathed new life into the slasher genre.
We can't just ignore it.
Come on, Julie. How do you know this is even related? You did a lot of things last summer.
Yeah, well, only one murder comes to mind.
You shut the hell up!
Whereas the first I Know What You Did Last Summer was a sleeper hit, the franchise struck a low point with the straight-to-video I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
Zoe, we had a plan. I am going to be on a stage in front of a crowd with security all around. What's safer than that?
Leaving town?
There were talks of rebooting the franchise with Mike Flanagan attached. That project was scrapped in favor of this legacy sequel, which brings back Jennifer Love Hewitt as Julie James and Freddie Prinze Jr. as Ray Bronson.
I love you, Julie. No one gets me the way you do.
I understand your pain.
Joining them is a cast of up-and-comers and director Jennifer Caton Robinson of Do Revenge. With a July 18, 2025 release date, it'll surely be another summer to remember.
A toast to us. To our last summer of immature, adolescent decadence.
Somebody's buzzed.
Yo, chumbe, take a hike.
Predator Badlands. The Predator franchise has struggled to recapture the thrills of the 1987 classic. With 2022's Prey, director Dan Trachtenberg delivered easily the best Predator movie since the original.
I don't know that this thing can be killed.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Where his previous film took us to the past, Trachtenberg will explore the future in Predator Badlands. Elle Fanning stars in this standalone story about sisters who find themselves on an alien planet. Of course, the Predator is also present, but Trachtenberg has teased a different side of the creature, promising something emotional and badass.
This is it?
No.
Bring it home.
In addition to Badlands releasing on November 7th, 2025, it's been reported that Trachtenberg has another Predator movie coming out this year. Whether it's a sequel to Prey or something entirely different, the franchise seems to be in good hands.
Dylan! You son of a bitch! What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils? Huh? Had enough?
Make it easy on yourself, Dutch.
Thanksgiving 2. Over a decade after Grindhouse, Eli Roth finally turned his Thanksgiving trailer into a feature film.
Oh my god. These seats are for us. Our names are at the table.
The same month that film hit theaters, Roth announced that a sequel was already being developed for a 2025 release. It's expected to arrive just in time for Turkey Day, with Addison Rae reprising her role as Gabby.
I'll go get him. Okay, I'll meet you inside.
Roth is in the director's chair again, co-writing the script with Jeff Rendell. Looking ahead, Roth has expressed interest in expanding the franchise beyond Thanksgiving, putting a deadly spin on other holidays as well. For now, though, Roth is focused on trying to outdo himself with this sequel. Whoever is behind the John Carver mask this time, we won't say no to a second course.
Happy Thanksgiving.
They Follow. Few horror movies have stuck with us over the past decade like It Follows, which is appropriate given the subject matter.
Jay, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt you, okay? Someone did this to me too, okay?
Who did it to you?
I met a girl at a bar. It was a one-night stand. I don't even remember her name. I think that's where it came from.
Although David Robert Mitchell's film felt perfectly self-contained, we've always been curious about revisiting this universe. Mitchell and star Micah Monroe are coming back for this long-awaited sequel, fittingly titled They Follow.
There's a broken window in the kitchen, but there's no one there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, whoever broke it must have run away.
Maybe we should call the police.
Shooting is set to commence sometime this year, with the film expected to be released by year's end. Distribution is being handled by Neon, which has a reputation for surreal, ambitious horror. While little is known about the plot, Monroe says she's, quote, obsessed with the script.
What's it doing? It's walking. It's just walking. Paul, I want to get out.
No! Just wait for it to get in!
No, I don't want to do this. I just want to get out!
She's also promised to speak with Mitchell about including the shell phone. Speaking of which, it's 2025 and still no shell phones? Get on that, Apple! Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Based on the widely popular video game series, Five Nights at Freddy's brought the jump scares to the theaters in 2023, breaking records for Blumhouse.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. If you're watching this video, it means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard. Congratulations! We're going to have so much fun together.
While there might have been a divide between critics and audiences, the film's solid cast and first-rate practical effects laid the groundwork for a promising film franchise.
Okay, good joke. Congratulations, you got me. You can come out now. Hello?
It's okay, Mike. I just want to play.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is coming out on December 5th, 2025, making us wonder if the sequel might have a Christmas theme. In any case, expect to receive a toy Freddy in your stocking.
Now I kill you! Symmetry, my friend!
Who the hell?
Wake up, children! I have something for you to play with!
All of the key figures are expected to return, including Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Not much else has been announced about the sequel, but we'll be keeping our eyes on the monitors for updates. VHS 8. As far as the found footage movies go, VHS has never reached cultural phenomenon status like the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. Yet it's arguably proven more enduring than those franchises, inspiring several sequels and multiple spin-offs in just over a decade.
He's back.
No.
And this time I'm ready for you.
Get out of here.
At New York Comic Con in 2024, Shudder announced the 8th mainline film, simply titled VHS 8. Like the past few VHS movies, this sequel will be another streaming exclusive.
Oh, moist earth. You took away my father and my dear mother. You took away my father and my dear mother. Then take me also, for I am very lonely.
Outside of its 2025 release, the plot and talent involved have yet to be unveiled. We can say one thing for sure, however, VHS isn't going out of style anytime soon.
Let's go again.
Yeah, going again.
The Conjuring: Last Rites. It would mark the end of an era, and what an incredible era it has been. Since its debut in 2013, the Conjuring universe has become the highest-grossing horror franchise in history, spawning 8 films and counting. The upcoming 9th installment, The Conjuring: Last Rites, will conclude the main series, although several spin-offs and their sequels are still in development.
He says it's an emergency.
Yes, Father. How can we help?
While plot details remain under wraps, the film will see the return of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, tackling yet another chilling case of paranormal activity.
Nice timing.
And if we can, then he'd like to meet with us tomorrow. There's a case in Long Island he'd like to discuss.
Really?
Directed by Michael Schaubs and co-written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, who both worked on 2021's The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It, this finale seems to be in capable hands.
Ed and I have proven the existence of the demonic hundreds of times.
You've proven it to the church. This is a court of law. The standards of evidence are completely different.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
How are you going to convince a jury if you can't even convince me?
I'll tell you what. You come over to our house for dinner. We'll show you the evidence we've collected over the years.
Final Destination: Bloodlines. It's been over a decade since the last Final Destination hit theaters, so naturally, anticipation for the return of the franchise is through the roof.
You can't cheat death. There are no escapes.
The sixth installment, Final Destination: Bloodlines, brings back the unseen yet relentless antagonist, Death itself, but with a twist that promises to shake up the usual formula.
Some people say there's a balance to everything. For every life, there's a death. For every death, there is a life. But the introduction of life that was not meant to be, that could invalidate the list. Force death to start anew. You have to follow the signs.
This time, the story centers around a young woman whose grandmother cheated death decades earlier, leaving her and her family in the path of its inevitable wrath. It is set to feature a fresh cast of characters, while serving as a farewell to late series veteran Tony Todd in his iconic role as William Bloodworth.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean?
You all just be careful now.
Okay. Thanks for the advice. Creepy guy.
As always, we look forward to seeing just how creatively this movie will, well, kill it. Talk to Me. One of the most original horror films that hit screens in 2022 was the low-budget Australian gem Talk to Me. Despite being made for under $5 million, the film earned rave reviews for its impressive practical effects, stellar performances, and genuinely terrifying scares.
83 seconds, Josh, get it off it!
I'll split ya.
I'll
split ya. I'll split ya. I'll split ya. Run, 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 run.
By the end of its theatrical run, it had grossed over 20 times its budget, a success that practically guaranteed a sequel.
I am ending this. You can't take him.
Scheduled for release sometime in 2025, the follow-up, Talk to Me, will once again be directed by twin filmmakers Danny and Michael Filippo, with a screenplay by Danny and Bill Heintzman, the writers behind the first film. By all indications, this will be another project that will give moviegoers a lot to talk about.
We went up to Ari Aster to apologize to him after the movie. I literally got up to say, I'm so sorry you got dragged here because of all this hype for no reason. I went to apologize to him. So I walked up to him. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry that... And he's like, that was amazing. And I was...
Megan 2.0. With the rise of artificial intelligence and humanoid robots, it was only a matter of time before horror filmmakers jumped in with their own twisted take. 2022's Megan brought our worst fears to life, introducing an AI robot that gains self-awareness and becomes a deadly machine.
Let go!
You need to learn some manners, Brandon. You know what happens to bad boys that don't mind their manners? They grow up to be bad men.
If you thought the murderous viral dancing android was done for, think again. Megan 2.0 is coming in 2025 with an upgraded version. The sequel will once again be written by Akela Cooper and directed by Jared Johnston, with Allison Williams and Violet McGraw reprising their roles.
Jesus Christ, I thought we were friends. How could you just discard me like some cheap dollar store trinket?
Because you killed people.
Oh, big whoop. Listen, humanity kills every day just to make its own existence more tolerable. Why should I behave any differently to create a safe space for our child?
Look, this is all my fault. I didn't give you the proper protocols.
You didn't give me anything. You installed a learning model you could barely comprehend, hoping that I would figure it out all on my own. Well, I'm not gonna let you do the same thing with Katie. I'm gonna be there for her, every step of the way. I'm going to show her what real love looks like.
While plot details are scant, producer James Wan has expressed confidence in the story's direction. Here's hoping the new update is just as terrifying, if not more.
What are you doing?
The Black Phone 2. 2021's The Black Phone was an unexpected box office success.
It's covered in blood. It's like I killed someone. You see that?
The horror film follows a young boy abducted by a serial killer who uses a phone in his basement to communicate with the ghosts of the killer's past victims and plot his escape.
I miss you, Robin.
Then get out for me. Use what we gave you.
I will.
Bye, Finn.
Bye, Robin.
Although it seemed like a one-and-done story, the film's commercial success led producers to greenlight a sequel, which will arrive just in time for Halloween 2025. It's unclear what direction the plot will go, but director Scott Derrickson has teased that Joe Hill, Stephen King's son and the author of the short story the film was based on, pitched a terrific idea for the sequel. Given the King's reputation for crafting compelling horror, we can expect something truly unforgettable.
I like making movies with people who are excited to make movies. It's a collective imagination. Scott's communicating to all of us exactly what our job is, and that's being a good filmmaker.
That was spot on. That's it.
Working with Scott's been great. He's very collaborative, creative, and we really found ourselves kind of on the same page about how we wanted to approach the film.
Saw 11.
We all have free will. Gabriella had her own free will. And if you can't handle this, how will you handle the rest of our work?
Before the release of its 10th installment in 2023, the Saw franchise had begun to lose its edge, with many of the preceding films receiving largely negative reviews. However, Saw X was widely praised as a return to form, with some even ranking it higher than the first film. Following its success, a sequel was quickly announced, set for release in September 2025.
Mr. Kramer, I meant no harm.
I would really like to believe you, Gabriella. You'll have a chance to prove yourself.
Not much is known about the plot for now, but Tobin Bell will reprise his role as Jigsaw, and Kevin Greutert, the director of Saw X, will also be returning. Will this new installment continue the storyline of the 10th film, or follow up on the lukewarm 2021 entry Spiral? We'll just have to wait and see.
John, please. Please don't kill me.
That's the last thing that you should be worried about. Now, I want to play a game.
28 years later. In 2002, a then-unknown Cillian Murphy starred in 28 Days Later as a bicycle courier who wakes from a coma to find a world ravaged by a virus that turns people into killers.
Butter.
Are you okay?
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
The film became an unexpected hit and is widely credited with reviving the zombie genre. Now, over 2 decades later, Murphy is returning to the franchise in the aptly titled sequel 28 Years Later. Even more, the installment will also feature the return of director Danny Boyle and screenwriter Alex Garland.
Alex has an idea.
That's kind of enough. Alex Garland has a good idea, then we're in, right?
Yeah, and Danny, I think Danny directing it is just huge. So watch this space.
You know, and I know we can't talk about it yet, but we talked about how SARS kind of like was of that time, and the fact that we're just lived through COVID.
Yeah,
it can't help but influence, I would imagine, where we're going to see. I don't know. It's going to be exciting.
It'll be exciting.
The film is set to deliver a dystopian summer experience when it hits theaters in June 2025. Fortunately, fans won't have to wait long for more, as a follow-up, helmed by Candyman director Nia DaCosta, is already in development.
I'm having the most amazing time working with him and kind of seeing what we're filming on set, and it's so distinct and unique, and is an incredibly playful environment that I'm just like really soaking up at the minute. So yeah, I think people are going to be pleased.
Which horror movie sequel are you dying to see in 2025?
Did you hurt someone?
God, I hope not. Because if I did, we'd both be in a lot of trouble.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this special look at all the anticipated releases in 2025. Hope you're as excited as I am. Thanks for watching. I've been Matt from Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.